Matt Reeves called Ben Affleck's Batman script exciting and almost James Bondian, but not something he personally related to. So, in a recent interview, he said, I read a script that they had that was a totally valid take on the movie. It was a very action driven movie. It was very deeply connected to the DCEU with other major characters from other movies and other comics popping up. This pains me the most. I just knew that when I read this,
Yeah.
when I read it, this particular script was not the way I would want to do it. So blame Matt Reeves for everything. I'm just kidding. Uh, so
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Cancel Matt.
So basically, he didn't want this baggage of the shared cinematic universe when he was building the Batman stories, especially because how DC handled it until now. And I think he did the right thing. I actually would have loved um, you know, a recast of Ben Affleck if he was actually done with Robert Pattinson being the DCU Batman. Actually would have liked that more, but I guess they went with the Keaton route because maybe he's more popular and all that, and because Matt Reeves didn't want his movies to be connected to the DCU, right? So even WB's hands are kind of tied there. But apart from that, I do think that this script should one day be made into some animated movie or something, or maybe one day Ben Affleck will come back and do it, or it just somehow this or into a comic book or graphic novel, even though some people hate that. I think this should get out because all we've been hearing about the script is that it's awesome. So it would be really
Mhm.
sad to have this just not made into something and just rotting in a shelf somewhere. And the thing about the cameos and the other stuff that he mentioned here was amazing because we know that Deathstroke was gonna be in this movie, and Lex Luthor actually tipped him off. Um,
And Barbara
Barbara
Gordon
Gordon
too.
would have been in this movie, and probably Jared Leto's Joker. Dude, dude.
Yeah, would have been cool. Would have been cool. But like, people are blaming Matt Reeves because he wouldn't do a
Maybe
movie that
even
Ben Affleck
Superman would have shown up at the
didn't want
end.
to do. But oh, it would have been loads of tie-ins. And
Dude.
Jay Olivia says the best Batman script he ever read. So it's a shame it never happened. I'd love to see it in animated form someday, or comic book, live action, of course. But yeah, it's pretty annoying. But like, people are annoyed at Matt Reeves because he wouldn't do the movie Ben Affleck wouldn't do, which makes no sense. So, and he didn't want to be a part of the DCU either. So he wanted to make his own self-contained thing. It's sad, but yeah, Matt Reeves, he didn't. I wouldn't say he didn't like it, but he just didn't want to create it for this massive universe, which wasn't doing well at that time either. So I can understand that.
Yeah. And yeah, what do you think,
Yeah.
Rokan?
If I had if I had a alcohol right next to me while you're doing the news, um, but yeah, I mean, look, there's a part of me that thinks that this was the script that Johns had come on board and and kind of like fuck with it because Ben had done a script that was and finished it before Justice League had begun filming, and that was the one he was going to write and direct. And then after Justice League had finished wrapping back in like early 17, John, the news came out that Johns was gonna come in and help rewrite the script with Ben, and I think that was the script that Matt ultimately saw, and I think that it might have turned him off from doing it. Now, granted, I completely understand looking back why Matt would want to make a Batman movie that was separate from DCEU, and I think when you see everything you've seen of the Batman, it's worked to its advantage in that sense. But yeah, it does suck that 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 he didn't go with Ben's script or a version of Ben's script. Hopefully, one of these days, like you said, either a graphic novel or an animated movie, or hell, I'll even take like a live stream script reading at this point, and just bring them all back and just have them read the script like that, and you can just be like, okay, well, at least we got them to read the script and hear it, or hopefully, Ben does change his mind and comes back somewhere down the line if he wants to, obviously. But yeah, I mean, all I can say is just that it is a great kind of like what if ultimately. But
Yeah.
I would say it's not Ben
Yes.
Affleck's fault. It's not Matt Reeves' fault. It's WB's fault. It's
no, of course. I mean, then again, because you remember this was when Johns came in and Ben stepped down from directing. This is after Live by Night had come out, and there are stories about how WB cut out like 30 minutes out of Live by Night.
Yeah,
which was Ben's passion
a
project.
lot of variables led to that, of course, his personal life as well, him not doing this movie. But I think Warner Brothers could have handled the situation better if they had a better internal structure. They could have told Ben, get your help, we'll help you as best we can, we'll delay the movie, it's okay. There was ways to fix this and to make sure everything would have been okay. But they didn't do that, and they burnt a lot of bridges, and they're still trying to rebuild those. So it's sad to hear Matt Reeves talk about it. The Batman's coming out, so Pattinson looks fantastic, and it's just a shame. But it's
I think it's one big loss to also gain something incredible, because the Batman looks pretty dope. But of course, this will always sting. But it is something that it couldn't happen, and we'll always be upset about that. But I understand why, and I don't blame anyone here. Even WB wanted to make this, and even they tried to offer him his solo project and stuff. And you even have literally pictures of the executives going to Ben Affleck's house, with a script and stuff. So
yeah,
he didn't want to do it. What can you do? Yeah.
No, of course not. No one should be forced
Especially
to
with
do a
people
job
who are
that they don't
proven to be
do.
dickheads and not being able to look after their talent. He was right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I said, more power to him. And look, just because it's not being made now doesn't discredit that couldn't happen somewhere else down the line. I mean, look at the possible news we might be getting Amazing Spider-Man 3. There was a time when we thought we were never going to get it, and now it looks like there are positive signs towards that happening.
Well, hold on, Hope. You never know. Clint Eastwood still making movies in his mid-90s or 90, whatever, directing them as well. You just never know. Someday we could get it. Indiana Jones is coming soon. You don't know. Executives could come in. Ben Affleck might even find himself to be an executive someday or something like that. He's pretty knowledgeable and all that stuff. And look, I wouldn't be surprised. Just it's not going to happen right now. Next year, the year after, maybe. But
yeah, it's why I always it's funny whenever I get kind of like get asked the big is the Snyderverse going to happen? Is Ben's movie going to get made? Like the answer I always give is just keep your eyes.
Nobody knows.
That's all you can do.
Whether or not it's gonna happen, and everybody's just hoping and assuming. So if someone is telling you that it's gonna happen, they're lying, because they don't know that's gonna happen. And if someone's telling you it's never gonna happen, they're also lying, because they don't know if it's gonna happen. So it all depends on the merger, I guess. After Zaslav coming in, maybe if he green lights certain projects, maybe then. But apart from that, I don't see any progress in that particular direction. Especially because Ben Affleck recently very much confirmed and sealed his exit from the DCEU. So,
yeah.
But an animated project
knows?
with Jay Oliver and Ben Affleck would just have to come in one day and voice his scenes, and that would be it. So that's a very big chance of happening. Yeah.